Hello guys, my name is Nozaki, and before you call up Geek Squad and ask them what's wrong with your monitor, I'll just go ahead and tell you that nothing is wrong with your monitor. Today I'm simply going to be using some Battlefield 3 as the backdrop for the topic I wish to discuss with you guys. And to explain the topic, I will basically start out in a story, which is, today I sort of got the urge, I was being a little edgy, I decided I was going to play some video games that I hadn't been playing all that much, and eventually, I ended up going back to Battlefield 3, and I ended up having a ton of fun playing it. It was a complete blast, and, I tried to figure out why is it, that Battlefield 3 was just so much more enjoyable for me than Battlefield 4. And the reason I came up with is the netcode, and it's been discussed to no end, but for those of you who aren't quite familiar with it, I'll surmise it down to, essentially, that Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Bad Company 2, and even Bad Company 1 all had similar servers, and they all have a tick rate of 10 Hertz, which essentially means that every 0.1 second the server updates, which is atrocious. To give it to you in perspective, the SAR has a fire rate that would be equivocal to every 0.1 second, 600 rounds per minute. And that is just truly awful for a first-person shooter. And in Battlefield 4, there is just so much more for the server to keep track of than there is in Battlefield 3. In Battlefield 4, there's Levolution, and there's SRAWs, and there's bullets, and there's players, and there's dubstep, lens flare, montage, things that the server just needs to take into consideration and track, and it's a lot of wear and tear on the server, and essentially what I'm trying to say is, in Battlefield 4, the server simply can't keep up, and bullets go missing, and then they reappear all of a sudden, and you sort of had the one-shot kill effect, where you just instantly die to a player who was never even looking at you, and it's very mysterious. And the way I look at it is, Battlefield 4 just made so many improvements over Battlefield 3. A lot of little things, zeroing on snipers, suppression is a lot more refined, the weapons are much more well balanced, the kits are more well balanced. Can we just talk about how overpowered the assault class was in Battlefield 3? Well, that's been a little overdone, but still. And, it's a lot of nice bells and whistles. Of course, the engine has been updated, there's more destruction, things like that. But, like I just said, it's a bunch of bells and whistles, and the way I look at it is, I came up with a metaphor, okay? I came up with a metaphor, and it essentially is Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 are both sandwiches. And Battlefield 3 was a sandwich that really was just meat. It's just substance, It's simple, it's not shiny, but it was really good. And don't get me wrong when I say this, but Battlefield 4 is essentially, it's just a sandwich of bread and a bunch of condiments and toppings. It's just bread and mayonnaise and lettuce and onions. And when I say that, essentially what I'm saying is the core mechanic of Battlefield 4, the tick rate of the server, it's just broken, and it just doesn't work. I'm not saying that Battlefield 4 is a broken game, but let's be honest, a lot of the community is dropping the game and leaving it as we speak. And it's mainly because the core aspect of the game isn't refined enough. And so essentially, I'm calling upon DICE. I mean, I don't really hold any leeway, but I'm calling upon DICE and EA to at least acknowledge and improve the tick rate on these servers. It absolutely needs to happen. Because in its current state, Battlefield 4, I think, severely lacks a sort of skill gap, if you understand what I'm saying. And this isn't just the netcode, DICE made a lot of great things and changes between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, but some were very, very silly. Like, they raised aim assist, okay? And they also raised this max sensitivity. Like, the sensitivity compared from Battlefield 4 to Battlefield 3, it's almost silly. You do complete 360 circles around players in Battlefield 4 compared to Battlefield 3. However, there is one thing I cannot ignore, and that is, well, in Battlefield 3, the assault class was overpowered, so everyone was running around with defibs, and you would get revived a lot more than you would in Battlefield 4. So, essentially, a lot of the BS deaths that you would incur they would simply be removed by a random player reviving you. And that sort of helped alleviate all the problems of Battlefield 3. And another curious thing that DICE did, I think, is at least on Xbox 360, and I think on PS3 and PS4 and Xbox One, obviously, all the consoles, DICE did comparable things, but I'll mainly talk about the 360 version since that's the one I play, and that is, they moved the spot button from back button to the right bumper button, and essentially now all of the game spots. And what I mean is, before, a lot of players simply didn't know that the back button was the spot button. In fact, I, for the longest time, didn't know when I first started playing. But now, DICE has really pushed spotting so much that everyone spots, and it is really hard to, flank players, and you will constantly, more than you realize, flash on the minimap. So, it really doesn't even matter if, you don't fire your gun or you're using a suppressor. And I think that also sort of bogs down the skill gap a little bit, Whereas in Battlefield 3, the best players were the only ones who spotted. In Battlefield 4, everyone's spotting. But that is, for the majority, what I wanted to talk about. And since I just wanted to keep this really quick, and this isn't something I'll normally be doing, but I just wanted to bring this up. And I will also include a little bit of a bonus clip for those of you who watched all this way. There was this guy, okay, I played with him in one of the servers I was in. His name is Sable Dark, and okay, he gets the most ridiculous kill feed with an M98B, so I'll enclose that at the end, but I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I will probably have a normal sort of Battlefield 4 video in the coming days for you guys. So with that, I want to thank you once again very much for watching, and goodbye, because I have pizza rolls sitting on my stove that are getting cold, and I want to go eat them. Swag.